I'm really angry over the way Biden's pardon is being handled by the media. Of course, I don't know why I would expect anything different. Biden says, now listen to this. He only pardoned his son because of the way that his political enemies treated him. Well, now let's think about it. Why didn't he do it earlier when he was potentially a candidate? Because he was potentially a candidate. The Lioness Sack discussed this with his staff in June. And then he comes up with this bull stuff when he decides to pardon baby boy Hunter just prior to sentencing. Now, I want to remind you, it was Biden's DOJ that let the statute of limitations expire on the majority of potential tax evasion charges. It was Biden's DOJ that offered Hunter a sweetheart plea deal that basically would give him immunity from all other federal charges in the gun case. But for that judge being diligent and smart and honest, it would have happened. And oh, by the way, a jury of Delaware citizens, the most friendly jury any Biden could find, unanimously convicted Hunter on the gun charges. Those were not Joe Biden's political enemies. And yet this gaslighting continues and the press plays its part to support it. I'm angry. You should be too. And you should hold the press and the media to account for their role. Take a look at this clip from Fox News and please share your thoughts in the comments.
Breaking news now, word that things are already starting to move positively for the presidentially pardoned Hunter Biden. The gun case is over in the eyes of the court. Judge Mary Ellen Noriega has terminated any further proceedings against Hunter, a move that we were expecting. She did, however, not fully dismiss the case outright, as Hunter's legal team had wanted. The case will not be erased from the historical record. But as we know, President Biden's pardon absolves Hunter. We'll now wait on the Los Angeles judge presiding over Hunter's $1.4 million owed on taxes. That case, we'll let you know how that comes to an end. That pardon is a gift that keeps on giving. A range of reactions now from liberal and legacy media after President Biden did pass along that wide-reaching pardon to his son. Many are reeling after they praised Biden's promise not to use his power to benefit his family. They believed him. Again, I shake my head. Like, why would you believe him? Anyway, his 180 has left MSNBC analysts, one of them, speechless. Look at this.
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
He was dishonest with the American public about whether he would give a pardon. He said pretty flatly right before the election when he was interviewed, when he was still in the race a couple months out, that he would not give a pardon. He said that repeatedly. He said it. Karine Jean-Pierre said it repeatedly to the American public. What he said publicly, they were not straight with the American public, and people remember that.
Yeah, I think Biden's a bit of a honey badger on this one. I don't think he cares what those people on CNN and MS are saying. President Biden with one last defender for today, Whoopi Goldberg.
I take issue with lying about it. I wanted to ask him here when he came on The View, but the thought was he said so many times he wasn't going to pardon him. That, to me, is lying to the public. I respect it as a parent. I understand why he would do it, but I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I'd stop calling it a lie. This is very different than any other situation.
Biden said that the Russian disinformation was real. The laptop, all of it was lies. How could you not know he'd get to this point? A new op-ed argues the legacy media enabled Biden's Hunter pardon, quote, their job is to lie for the Biden administration and to stay silent when Joe Biden publicly humiliates them afterward. Flanked by a dedicated gaggle of shameless media propagandists, Joe Biden is free as Hunter to deliver his final insult to the American people, end of quote. Clay Travis, Outkick founder. Clay, your top line thoughts.
Joe Biden's a complete and total liar, and everybody who has a functional brain knew he was lying, Harris, when he said that he wasn't going to pardon Hunter. And we know that they were having conversations in June when this conviction happened, and they knew that it would look bad because Joe Biden at that time was still in the office, and he thought there were two ways he was going to beat Trump. One was with abortion, and we know Kamala Harris spent $1 billion on abortion ads, and it didn't work, but that was one idea. The other was by arguing that Trump was a direct assault on democracy and that he was a felon president. And so if he had pardoned his son, you're taking one of the two arguments that he thought was the most coherent and concise for his campaign off the table. So they made a calculated decision to lie to the American public because it benefited them politically based on the lies that they were spreading about Donald Trump. And Harris, my takeaway, as Trump is going to take office here in a little bit less than, what, six and a half, 7 weeks, is I want him to pardon immediately on day one. I can't get here fast enough, Harris. I want him to immediately pardon on day one every single January 6th political prisoner, even those that engaged in acts of violence. People say, what are you talking about there? You can look at the way that they were treated. If you commit a violent crime in D.C., you hardly get prosecuted at all right now. Even the people that engaged in violence have been prosecuted more than the average person would be in our nation's capital. I want a blanket and complete pardon for all of those people, Clay, because Joe Biden has demonstrated he'll do whatever it takes to protect people who are close to him.